As they're getting comfortable, I want to remind you all just a few things. Mary and I and Brother Mark Ridings were blessed to be able to go to Kenya this past August and be there with them. And I gave a report when I came back, and I just want to hit a couple things just to kind of get the work in Kenya in your mind. So Kenya there is on the eastern coast of Africa, and there's 26 million people there. And as I told you, it is about the size, roughly, of Texas.
56.
Huh? 56. Oh, I know. Oh, what's 30 million among friends? 56 million. 56 million people in Kenya. And you all live in Mombasa. And that's a port city on the Indian Ocean, and it has about 1.5 million people in Mombasa. And one of the unique opportunities and challenges there is all the languages that are spoken. Folks there speak Swahili. English is also, I guess, your official language. But then there are also the tribal languages. There's 42.
Yeah, more than that.
More than that. 46? Where did I get my numbers? Did I get these?
Before they got the Indian language also.
Oh, okay.
Recently taken in.
Okay, so yeah, there's a ton of languages. How many languages do you speak?
About 3 or 4.
What about you, Sister Sarah?
I'm fluent in 3, but I can speak more than 5.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's very common. And so the work there in Kenya, when we went there, there was the first work there at New Hope, and that was the first work, correct? And then we were there for the organization of a mission work in Mikidani, which was organized as Calvary Missionary Baptist. But as I understand, you all are from over on the west side.
Yes.
And over there on the west side, I'm putting these stars, there's all these different works and missions that they are connected to over there. There is Mahura Bay, Ramogi Hills, Alassi, which I don't think I have Alassi up there, do I? Or I guess I do, close to it, Alassi. And then in Bungoma County, near Uganda, there's Bungoma Town, Tarimi, and Lurende Mission. And then you also have contacts with folks in Tanzania. One of the preachers from Tanzania got saved at back in August when we were down there, and Brother Jones was preaching. And then there's also folks that you had from Nairobi that came out for the conference. And so they have many works going on. And you don't have a jet like Joel Osteen. Brother Tom spends a lot of time on a bus. And so there's just, I wanted to get this all in your mind a little bit, so when they're talking about some of these things that are going on. So we're just going to get everybody to get acquainted with you all. So how old are you all? How long have you been? I'm going to ask Sarah how long you've been married. How old are you, Tom? Let's start with that one.
In November, I'll be 60.
You'll be 60 in November. Wow. 37 years, okay. You don't have to tell us how old you are. But you're younger than Tom.
I'll be 55 in August.
Okay.
31st.
Okay. And how many children do you all have, and what are their ages?
We have 7 children. Ages is between 36 and 10.
So 7 kids, 36 to 10. And you all know one of their children, Brother Jones, who preached here for us a few weeks ago. And would you mind giving us just a summary of how the work began, like with the Missionary Baptist work with Brother Bryson and all?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the church for the invitation and for coming. The work in Kenya was started by the leadership of Missionary Baptist Church in Georgia, Atlanta. They sent Brother Paul Bryson. We had been listening for for him preaching at the shortwave radio, and we asked him to come over to Kenya so that he can at least tell us more about what he was preaching, because we found it, whatever he was preaching was really appealing to us. So he came in August 20, the year 2002, and when he came, God blessed, and we had a lot of people who came to know the Lord through his preaching. He went back, but in the year 2003, this mission was organized into a church, and was given the New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. And then we started, because of the student and the parents that were, and because of the work that we were doing, mostly you cannot go to the parents there just telling them about you being a pastor, because in Mombasa where we live, we have about 20% of the people there are Christian, but not Christian because they have been converted, but by the name, because anybody who does not have a name, a Muslim name, is either Christian or just because he was born and their parents gave them the name, so they call themselves Christian. So it's not about salvation, but it's about if you have the name Tom, whether you are saved or not saved, you are a Christian because of the background. So we have 80% of the people living in Mombasa are Muslims. So it was very easy for me to go to the parents' home, because when Sarah started school and I was one of the teachers there, they saw me as the teacher. The teacher in Arabic they call Malim. So they saw whenever I went to their homes, they accepted me because of being a teacher, and that really gave us a good time to interact with the pupils, and that's how we got the school and also the mission there started. But we did not really concentrate so much, because it was only on Friday that we preached and taught the students. But we went further from where I came from, that is in Kisumu, if you can see that area around it. That's where I was born. And I had to, me and Paul Bryson, we went to a place, that's where my mother is. My father died when I was 10 years old. So I went there to take the message, and when Brother Bryson preached there, some of my kindred got saved, including my mother. We started a mission there, and that mission went on. Brother Bose and the rest were coming, and we were doing revival every year. So that mission was organized in 2012. Then we went back on the other side of the Lake Victoria, and that's where Sarah comes from. But one of our member that was in Mombasa was deployed by the government. He got a job with the government and went at a place called Ngurube so that he can start teach for his work. So when he went there was no church that preaches what we believe. So he asked the church at New Hope if we could consider going there and helping him to start a mission. It was very hard and tough, but we, on several occasions, we had a van. We parked our van and took about 15 people. We went to that place on several different. The second year, we went several years. And the Lord gave us a lead in the year 2019 when some people got saved, and we realized very quickly that the Lord wanted us to have a church there. Even though we had been going there, there was nobody was getting saved, so we realized it was just for their own benefit, him and his wife and his children. But when those individuals got saved, and we realized God wanted us to be there, we started now a mission. We bought a place, and we worked there we had a small teamed building where they always met every Sunday. And this work went on and was organized in 2024. We had now to go back again and look at the Sarah School and the student and the parents that were visiting and coming every Sunday for hearing the message. This preaching at the school went on for a while, but we realized that we need, after we have seen a lot of success, and the school had more members than even the New Hope, because when the school was, we started the church, it was started originally in Mikindani, but because we didn't have a land, we moved to the other side. So most of the members were left here. So we joined together with the members and the parents, and that school, that was, we organized it last year in August. It was given the name Calvary Missionary Baptist Church. But the other one in Uhuru Bay was given a name Shalom Missionary Baptist Church. And that's how, from there, generally we have 4 churches right now. But then we started, we started another one at Lassie. And that Lassie is going on very well. We had bought a place and built the building. They still don't have the floor and the plastering on the wall. We thank God that they have a place where they can worship the Lord. And we have a very wonderful preacher there. We pray that maybe in 2 or 3 years, God willing, we'll be organizing that mission into a church. But then later, because of the Facebook and many online preaching, we get interaction with the people at Bungoma and some people that were in America. We started that mission at Teremi, and then later Bungoma town, and now Olonde. So we can say that we have 4 missions and 4 churches, and each church has a preacher that is preaching every Sunday. Though I go around, I've been mostly like I've been going around the missions, just trying to hold revivals, preaching and helping to mentor the preachers. But recently, last year, I lost one of our pastor. It's called Brother Moses Onyango, who was also ordained in 2012. And when I lost him, now I have to go back to the church, because we must make sure that the church continues to do its duty. Right now, I'm back to the pastoral. I still want to go around, do the mission work, and open some new missions. But right now, I'm back to the New Hope Church to help the church to grow. I think that's the school is going on very well. I think Sarah is going to handle that area. Is there any more question for me? Is there anything?
Oh yeah, there's going to be more questions for you. Sure. But so 4 churches, 4 missions.
Yeah.
That are going on right now.
And we have another one at Mbeya, which is in Tanzania.
Okay.
Another mission, and also we are crossing over to Zambia. We had some people that came to Kenya and were baptized from Uganda. One of them is living in Uganda. So usually we follow the lead, those who have got connection with us, we follow them and have a revival where they are, and then we go and we find out that we have a mission over there, because we first of all have the person that we can work with first.
So is that, everybody kind of see how that's been, it's really interesting, because the growth of these works has come from people that have come together in this place and have gotten saved at revivals, but they're moved or they're from someplace else, but then
We follow them.
you follow them. You follow them, and that's been really, really neat. So one of the questions I had, just to kind of help me and help us understand, I mean, you got all of these countries. I mean, you got this entire, this huge continent here. Your country is the size of Texas. So when you think about going to Somalia or Ethiopia or South Sudan, Uganda, you say Tanzania?
Tanzania, yes.
Okay. So is that for us like going to a different state, like leaving Tennessee and going to Kentucky, or is it more like for us, the United States going to Mexico or Canada? I mean, how different is it to cross borders? I mean, maybe it's some of
Tanzania is just our border in Kenya. So we have border in Tanzania and Uganda. So it's like going to another state, but they have their own government, have their own regulations, their own laws. That if you get there, you have to learn the law so that you can follow, so that you don't get yourself in trouble with the government on the other side.
But when you go from Kenya to one of these other countries, you're welcome. You're not seen as an outsider.
Yeah, we have a passport. My passport is written, you can see, written East Africa, not Kenya.
Okay.
So this allows me to go all over. We have, East Africa has about 7 blocks of countries, including Tanzania, Uganda, South Sudan. We have all these, about 7 of them. So when you come to Kenya, you can go to those countries without looking for another new visa.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's really interesting. So one of the things you mentioned, and I think this would be, we were talking about this over dinner, when you go to some of these other countries to preach, you said they have some different rules about preaching. What are some of the things you encounter that you've had to do differently when you go to a different country?
Yeah, because of the mentalities of the preachers, most of them were really see the church as a place where they, instead of working, they get a way of getting money. So it's a lot of prosperity preaching. So the government looked at and said, well, they think it's a lot of easy money being found in the church. So the government started following up, and therefore they came up with rules that first of all they want to know who are these people, what is their academic background, what have they done, how do we know they are qualified to do what they are doing, or people are being used as a training ground. So therefore they have come up with the rules. Especially in Rwanda, they recently registered about 6,000 churches and mosques, because if they find that you don't have any theological studies, they just say, okay, you're not qualified, because what we are preaching, what you don't know. And that's happening. And Kenya is also because of those unique doctrines, because some people took a group of people, they went to the forest, they told them to just fast until they see God, and they fasted. A lot of them died there. The government found out later. So government has set up a commission to make sure that they try to reorganize religious groupings, and that has come up with, first of all, they want to know training, your training background. You have to tell, no, they don't want you to tell them, they want to see the certificate that shows that you really are qualified for what you are doing. So that has been a challenge, because we say Kenya is a free country where everybody has freedom of worship. But now you have the freedom as long as you are qualified. So that's another challenge, because, for example, our pastors in Kenya, for them, for example, right now, because I'm with them, I cover them. When the government has any problem, instead of asking them, they ask me, because they believe that I am qualified. And that's why we want to really try to help these pastors to get the certificates if they can, get the training, so that at least they can qualify, so that the government can see them as qualified to preach the gospel. Yeah, that was not there before, but right now the government is really looking at that.
So I want to make a little connection for folks, because on Sunday night I preached a message about Caesar and God. And I mentioned one of the things that we exported from America is the prosperity gospel. That's gone out from our country. And because of that, in Kenya, they've seen people taken a lot of advantage of, and preachers making a whole lot of money. And so now they're making preachers have a theological education to demonstrate that in order to be able to preach. And so what have you done to do that?
Well,
should we be calling you Dr. Tom?
if you can. But what is happening, I had gone through a lot of theological studies, because the church, they believe that a call to preach is a call to prepare. So I tried to prepare myself by going to a school, and I got my diploma in theology. Then went up for, got my Bachelor of Arts in biblical studies, then in Christian education, as a master's and then Doctor of Divinity. And that one I got here in America. So I've tried so much to be, so that I can be seen qualified, whatever I'm to cover up my preacher, so that whenever the government comes for them, I say, here I am. If they have questions, I am the one you should ask me. And then I have to present my papers. You have to, in Kenya, you have to register a church. And before you, when you go to register a church, the name of the church, then your certificate, the certificate of the one that is registering. And then they have to send in FBI or CIDs, criminal investigation officers, to figure out who you are before they can register your church. So our church is fully registered in Kenya, and they have to take all those documents for them to help us to be registered fully or legally function, operate in Kenya.
So you, and I want people to understand this because, you know, our model here, because of the freedom we have, each church gets organized and they truly are out on their own. And you all are following that, but also in reality with Kenya, you have to stay connected to these churches for them to continue to legally operate.
Yeah, because if they make an MS, the government hold me responsible. So that's why I have to get reports from whatever they. It's like most of the countries that were colonized by the British, we have what we call a Commonwealth. Even though we fought for our freedom and we got our freedom, independence, but still there is what we call Commonwealth, where all the countries that were colonized by British, they come together as a Commonwealth. But now that's what we do in our churches. We have, every year, we have to do what we call annual returns. And that means that I have to ask those preachers in different churches to send me how many members, how many were saved, how many were baptized, how many do we have. So I put I see how many in total, in general, how many members do I have in Missionary Baptist Assembly. So I send to the government to tell them this, the people that I have. And then they will have also, there is a tax to be paid. If you have men, the more you have, the more people you have, the more money the government expects you to pay in their as a tax. Because the preachers made the government feel that it's only money business, not preaching. Yeah.
So just, and also to be clear, the Kenyan government is not telling you what to preach.
No, they don't.
So they're not affecting how you worship at all.
No, they come in when there is a problem, when something is reported to them that the church is doing. Then they will come in. Then they will have to figure out who are you, where did you train, and they find that you are not trained. Then you are doing it illegally. You are not registered. You are doing it. So they take you to court, and they will put you first of all because of running a legal entity, which is a church, and secondly, you are not qualified to do whatever you are doing. So not because you are preaching, but because you did not follow the rules of the country.
I just thought it was really helpful for folks here to understand this is the situation they have to work in, and he's been doing that, and that's part of, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but part of what we were doing and going over and teaching the preachers is we want to maybe eventually be able to present them with a certificate or something which would allow there to be more qualified men, because you probably don't want to do it all.
Yeah, because once the church is organized, it becomes independent, and now he can also start his own missions. And then somehow, as far as the annual report, they can give, but they can have their own churches running under one person, but they have to report to the government, and they have to report, give me the information, because only me that I represent. For example, for any wedding to take place, I have to be registered by the government. So whenever I'm officiating a wedding, I'm officiating that wedding on behalf of the Attorney General of Kenya. So therefore, that's why they have to look for qualification, because if you represent the Attorney General, then you have to have a know-how of what is required of you as a minister of the gospel.
Very good. Does anyone want to ask any questions about this before we pivot a little bit? Brother Johnny.
Two-part question. who is leading, doing all this while you and Sister Sarah are here? And then the second part is, are you working toward what all of that looks like after Brother Tom stops, gets sick, or passes on? Very practical question. Are there plans being made toward that?
Okay. Who is doing that while we are here? We have each church having a preacher. And therefore, every church is having somebody to preach right now. Like in New Hope, where we lost the preacher, we have one of the gentlemen who is teaching every Sunday. And we talk every time. If there is any challenge, we talk together and have a communication with the church. So we have people who are doing this, like in the school. We have the headmaster, we have the deputy headmaster, and we have several individuals that are responsible. When the government comes, they will not come to Sarah unless there is something so bad. Then they will ask for the owner of the school. But so long as you're following the rules, they will look for the head teacher, who is the responsible for academic things in the school. So we come in as just to give to make sure that every plan and every process of the government that the government wants from the school is done. So we follow up, find all the certificates that the government needs, register the school, and do everything necessary. So when we have already put people in place to work on our behalf, and we do consult in everything. And as far as that's really what I'm working on right now. That's why I need people who can help me in training of these ministers, so that we at least get ready, because nobody is here forever. But we thank God that we have individuals that are there, but we are still working on this, because this to me is the most important thing. The afterwards, what will happen when we are not there? God tells me, you work out yourself out of the job. So that's why I'm having like people like Kennedy Onyango that I'm putting closely trying to monitor and try to impart knowledge and show them what is needed to be done. And also, as they qualify, then they will be able to stand up for me when I'm not there.
Thank you for your question. There's a lot of things I want to say, but I want to keep this about what y'all are talking about. Is there any other questions about this right now, at this point?
So the Kenyan government put this thing in place so they can monitor and make sure things are being done at a certain level, right, with your certificates and that. So when did that start? And it's obviously changed the way things have been going on. So what's your feelings about that? Is it, do you feel like that's a positive thing, or what yours and everybody else's, feeling about the government's, regulations?
Yeah, I feel that the government is doing the right thing, but yet I also sometimes feel that the government is not only looking for that, there's something deeper that they're looking for. Because it's not only, whenever you get into trouble, then it's when you know, oh, this thing is bad. But sometimes the government comes in only whenever there is upheaval. Maybe some people have gone into the forest and they're lost, and the nation is looking for, where are those people? Then they went with a preacher to the forest. And then they go there, they find people have fainted. They have not been eating. They have been fasting for about 40 days. And then the guy said, no, is this church? No, we need to know what is their doctrine, what do they teach, and how many branches do they have, and how many have been affected. So they go around trying to ask people, if you have ever been able to worship that church, they want to get to know what is really being taught there from the people that have been member of that church. They like investigation. But before that happens, the government does not have any problem with what is happening in the church. But when you become in the limelight, then the government will come straight and try to get to know who are these people, what is their name, when did they get registered, what was the what was their constitution? What constitution do we have with us? Because every constitution must be given. The government you must file your belief, your article of faith, and everything that pertains to your doctrine. The government has everything in their office, in the Attorney General's office. So that whenever there's a problem, they go through that and they can tell and then say, okay, what about this one that we fasting and it is not here in what we have in our file. So that's how they get into trouble.
I think one of the things people don't maybe realize here about the burden that you carry. Now, you probably can't give me an exact number, but it's not uncommon from what I've seen for people who've been involved in other denominations and even preachers to come into the services, revivals, and then get saved. Is that true? You've had a few at least?
Yeah, you see,
that were already preachers in other
the
denominations.
big problem is that the word salvation, how they understand it, it's a different thing. You can't be talking about salvation, but they're wondering, what are you talking about? Because when you talk about heartfelt salvation, you have to explain what you mean, because to people in Kenya, if, for example, you are morally right, the way you move around, you are not really drunkard, you're not a smoker, you're not someone who misbehaves, people know you as an upright person. They see it as like you are saved, unless you say, I'm not. So salvation to them is having a moral behavior, so that you behave like you are doing very well. But now the churches, we preach salvation, but like accepting Jesus Christ. It's just a matter of carrying up your hand and saying this and this. Okay, now you're saved. Now behave like a Christian. No, you try to do a works. You want to do it. You don't want to be in trouble, because when you get in trouble, they say, "Are you not saved? Is it what the Christian need to do?" Now you get ashamed. So it's a kind of work. It's not really the spirit, but kind of trying to have a reputation, because your group are the people with the reputation. And if when you put them into shame, then they are all coming for you. Why did you put us to shame?
And so as you've seen people from different backgrounds coming in and getting saved, we talked a little bit about they bring a lot of doctrinal baggage with them. And there's a lot of teaching that needs to be done. And as they get engaged in these various works, you carry a burden to make sure they're not going off and going crazy, because if their work goes bad, that can affect all your works.
Yes.
So I think it's important to see kind of the weight of this that you're having to carry. We need to give Sister Sarah a chance, but anyone have another question for Brother Tom before we switch over to Sister Sarah?
How long does the training generally last when you say you've got somebody new, and you need to get them trained to government standards? How long does that training typically last? I know you learn all your life and you teach that, but
Yeah. I think for diploma, it's about 2 years or 3 years. But for bachelor degree, 4 years. So 2 years would be able to get your diploma. That can show that you are having a diploma in theology, which means you have gone through general studies, basic studies like psychology, like doctrines, like biblical theology, like systematical theology, synoptic gospel, Pauline epistles, and those that there is a kind of a curriculum that every institute, like we come up with, this is what we want to teach. When you register school, you tell the school, they tell the government, these are the subjects we are going to be teaching. So the people that come in that school, if there is, then have to go through the curriculum that already been set. So once they're done, then you can graduate and give them their certificates.
So just like getting a degree, associate, or different on up here to get something.
I just lost one very good preacher that he was saying, I need to do some studies. I said, wait, we are going to be setting ours soon. But then the Pentecostal got him and gave him a sponsorship, and found himself in the Pentecostal Bible Institute, and he studied there for 4 years. Now I'm trying to get him back, but now he's on the other side, because is now being taught in the doctrines and the curriculum of Pentecostal. So it's really, even if I bring him back, he won't be of any use, because once you are indoctrinated, it's really difficult to get it out of your mind, because even though you can pretend you are now doing it for me, but when I'm not there, you just teach what you have already known and taught. That's why we need to really get our own and establish them in our faith, that they can go out and establish others in the right doctrine.
Sister Paula?
Yes. So, Brother Tom, then a person is convicted and he gets saved, and then he feels the call to preach. And you would accept that, but to meet the government standards, he has to have some education, right? He has to get some diplomas or whatever you call them. Is that correct?
Yeah, he has to, for one to be preacher, he has to give a testimony of salvation, and then be called to preach. But now when I give him the pulpit to preach, then as he continue to work, and maybe if I give him a church, if he is called to preach, then later they will ask, what qualification do you have? And then you can produce for you to be work independently without any problems from other people. So you need to have, so far right now it's not really a qualification, but it's going to be in the future, because there is a commission going on trying to figure out how will it work. It may be next year they are going to come up and tell us this is what is decided, because a presidential commission that is working out to make sure that the churches follow the rules, and they do. Like in Rwanda, they've already come up with what is required. You have to have a bachelor degree in theology. But in Kenya, they have not yet told us. They just tell us you have to be qualified.
So they can preach under Tom's supervision, but to be independent, they're going to need to ultimately to have some certification of. Brother John?
Is Brother Tom, y'all familiar with Brother Kent Welch's work?
Yes.
Covenant Missionary Society.
Yeah, there's
shared with him a lot.
Yeah, and that's part of what Brother Kent Welch is working on, is trying to put together some things that would ultimately help to establish those kinds of qualifications. So that's part of the vision. Yeah. Sister Sarah.
Yes.
Still awake over there? I have some pictures here. You want to tell the folks about some of the pictures that we got on the screen here? You're a better.
That is feeding program at New Hope School.
So the New Hope School is in Mikadani,
Yes.
Which is where the church was just organized in August. How many meals a day do the kids get there?
2 meals a day.
How many kids do you have at the school right now?
So far, when I left, there were 560 students.
560 students when you left.
Yes.
There may be more now.
Yeah, we are going to school.
So the school has just started. They just started their school year
Yeah, 3 days ago.
3 days ago. The kids on Monday this week, kids started their new school year there, and so 2 meals a day with almost 600 kids now. Okay.
With some classes.
How many different grades do you have going on?
We have kindergarten, pre-primary 1 and 2. We have primary section grade 1st grade to 6th grade, and we have junior school at 7th grade to 9th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got kindergarten through 9th grade
Yeah.
all going on at the same time. How many teachers do you have?
We have 20 qualified teachers, and we have some that are just helping. They're not qualified, but they're helping. So in total, I have 43 employees, teachers, plus subordinate.
What is your title now?
Well, They call me manager.
Manager.
Yes.
Manager.
Yeah.
And this was a school that you started underneath a tree?
Yes.
So this school that, if you recall last year, it started up underneath you started doing this under a tree and just doing this all by yourself.
Yes.
Now it's almost 600 children and 40-some employees.
Yes.
And roughly how many computers do y'all have?
We have 30 computers.
30 computers? And
Yes.
at what grade did they start learning computer?
Grade 6. This year, I've seen some grade 5 are getting into the computer lab in grade 9.
Okay.
And even the younger ones, there are some things they are supposed to be taught about computer, but not educated. Yeah.
So starting a bit in grade 5, but then all the way through the 9th grade,
Yeah.
they're getting computer-like time. And more kids. And so some of your children are Muslim at the school?
Yeah. The ones that you see cover their heads like me, we are Muslims. Yeah. The Muslim girls, they have to cover their heads, even though sometimes some of them do not do that because of the school where they are. It's a Christian school, but mostly they cover their heads. And we have around 30% of the students in that school are Muslims.
And how often do you all have a chapel service or preach to the kids?
We have a chapel on Friday morning, the first lesson. And also, because it's a Christian school, we have Christian religious education. It's one of the subjects that we have to teach. It's either you take Christian religion, or you take Hindu, or you take Islam. But because in my school we don't do Islam or Hindu, even the Muslims that are learning in that school, they learn Christianity.
Amen.
And that is taught thrice a week in their classes.
Very good. And these are some of your teachers?
Yeah, those are some of the teachers.
Okay.
Yes.
I really like that picture. Now there's a few more, I guess, teaching and.
Yeah, the upper one is Nelly, my daughter. She is helping. Right now I'm not there. She's the assistant.
Okay. She's the assistant manager?
Yeah. And that is our library.
Okay. And is that the library that Sister Ashley from Calvary started?
Yes.
Okay.
So regularly comes to check it
And
see.
she'll be coming in 2 weeks' time from now.
And just to give everyone a backstory, because most of you don't know this, so we go to the Missouri Youth Weekend. We're going to be going there again this year. One of the well, she's a mother now.
Yeah, she's a mother.
And in fact, they named their youngest daughter after her.
Ashley.
But she went to Kenya, I guess, when she was in high school. She was 19.
Yes.
And she lived there for a while. She had a burden to stay there.
Yeah.
And she helped with the school, and she started the library.
Yeah.
And now she's, I got to see her at Canaan when we had the revival, and she's got two little kids right now. Yeah, God used her in a great way. If somebody else moves over, will you name another child after them?
I don't think that I have another one.
I'm just curious how that happened. No, that's and then oh yeah, there's like a picture of the two of you. Yeah. So how has the school impacted the ministry and the community? And is this something like that other works are thinking about doing a school? Do any of the other church or missions have a school?
I know of the New Hope School, which has been a great place and has changed the name of that community, because when I started that school, the community was like, those people were hopeless. And the school has brought light into that community. I think you were there the other day. What you saw is not what was there before. It has brought light. It has helped so many children to also understand that there is a God who can take care of the orphans and also the widows, like the ones that are working at the school. And the entire community is a big thing in the community where the school is. I can say also with the school in that community, they are seeing the love of Christ. When we feed their children twice a week, some of them do not, twice a day, some of them cannot get even one meal a day. And you find out even before I left for the US this year, a week before I was to leave, one of the parents got into the office and she told the people there, I would like to see Madam, they called Madam Sarah. And they called me, I came from my office, and I found this lady seated waiting. She knows me. And she told me, Madam, the reason why I've come, I know the people in the office will not understand me, but will understand me better. I know I have to pay some money. They have to pay partially. Sometimes they pay, sometimes they don't pay. But the reason why I'm here, my children have gone without food for 3 days. And even today they are not in school. So if I lie to you that I'm going to bring the money, and then she started crying as I saw the tears coming out of her eyes. So what I did, I talked to the accountant to check if they have even $10, because we don't deal with cash. We send the money direct to the account. They gave me the money. Then I handed that money to this woman and said, Mom, go buy food for your family. So the feeding program is a great help to those children. And even when they are sick, they come to school. So I can say feeding is one of the things that has helped them. Getting the needed education has helped the environment or the community, and also teaching them about Jesus, the love of Jesus for us, has also helped them. Even the Muslim children, they do Christian religious education even when they get out of that school, going to senior high. They continue with that subject because they understand it better. Yeah, I don't know that answer.
Maybe what you say that if, for example, having studying some schools in some of our mission or churches, it's something that would be good, but it takes a lot of time. It takes you need to have qualified teachers, and you have to not only you don't need only to have a bachelor degree in education or have a education or diploma, but the government has to certify, and you have what we call you have to have a certificate from the government that qualifies you to be a teacher. And for you to collect all these things and register the school to function, it takes a lot of money and a lot of time. And I don't think whether I have that in I really want to give myself to mission work rather than really doing the school, because it's really very rigorous to register school. Because otherwise, if you don't register it, the government will come and close it, or you'll have to be penalized for not following the rules. But if other churches wanted to start, then I will be able to help them start.
I tried to help with Rabongi Missionary Baptist. And because it is about 900 kilometers from where I am, it wasn't easy to follow up on what they are doing. I even tried to spend the little we have in New Hope to support the teachers whom we employed the other side, but it didn't work. It didn't work, so by the end of the day I found out the school was closed down because I cannot be there and be here at the same time. And also, it's not easy, it's not just starting. It needs faithfulness, commitment, it needs a lot, whether you have those qualifications or not. It needs a lot, because I was trying to feed those children and there's no one is there to prepare for them that food. So we didn't proceed with it. I know there are some churches that are doing it, but so far I prefer, I dwell where I am to help this community.
Yeah. Sounds like something to pray that God would raise up more Tom and Sarahs.
Amen.
That have not just the qualification, but that type of faithfulness and calling and commitment. Yeah, you can only be where you are.
Yeah.
Do you all have any questions for Sister Sarah you want to ask?
I want to know if the books are in English. Are they in various languages?
Are the books in English? Or are they?
Every subject, every book that we use in school is written in English except Kiswahili as a subject. We have one Kiswahili and it is for Kiswahili subject. The rest you have to teach in English. Unless you do some translation, which is not easy. There are some terms that you cannot do because all the exams they are doing are being done in English.
In Tanzania, they do the different. In Tanzania, they do in Kiswahili everything. Even biology is translated into Kiswahili, and you can see how difficult it is. But in Kenya, it's just English.
Kenya and Uganda is English, and I think we have our Ugandan brothers back there. They can tell you. Yeah.
How much does it cost to educate a child for a year? You know,
How much does it cost to educate a child for a year?
I always forget about this every time they ask me. Sister Palette, I'm sorry because I have to do calculation. Every time I'm being asked, I'm a little bit confused on that. But
I think we can communicate that. The only reason because we don't deal so much on money. There are people who are dealing on finances. We deal mainly on management and try to really be in between them and the government. But there's an office like the accountant who deals with that. But we
allow
can
me to
send
give
it.
you the answer before I leave this country. I'm sorry.
It's a good question. I mean, it certainly is an expense to that. Anyone else want to ask a question?
I was curious, how large is the facility of the school? How many rooms? And, I mean, it's 500 plus children, so.
He can
You
answer
can
that.
answer that. That's why he came, or Sister Mary can help that.
I'm horrible at that kind of stuff. So where they have the meals, where you all meet to worship, is about the size of this room.
Yes.
Okay, but their kitchen is about the size of our kitchenette, not our kitchen. So if you were to go into our kitchenette, that little room where I saw folks cooking off of there, yeah, it's the size of our kitchenette that they're fixing food for all of those kids, and I mean And they don't have the nice counters. Folks were kind of sitting on the floor, and they had, it was very hot.
Yeah, you have to sit on the floor.
Sit on the floor, and they're working, and the kids eat a lot of beans and cabbage
And rice.
and rice, and that's like every day. So it's not like you don't have pizza Friday. Right? You don't have the variety like that. They spoiled us and took wonderful care of us and bringing us some different things each day, but that's not how they operate there. You could not operate like that with all those kids. And so I would say all the different floors and stuff, I mean, your facility in total is probably about the size of but it's stacked. It's about like down here in this on like 3 or 4 levels.
The
Yeah.
classrooms are small.
Yeah, they're broken
The
up tiny.
classrooms are small, and I would say that there's probably easily you could say that there's way more kids in a classroom than here in America.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the teacher to student ratio is way higher. And I talked to one of the teachers when I was there, and I think she was standing in for another teacher, so she had 2 of the, I think it was 3rd grade classes, and I said, how many students do you have right now? And I think she said like 50 or 60. And I said, how do you do that? She said, I can do it. And she wasn't saying it to be prideful. It was really like, I feel like she just really like, God helps me, and I do it. And you don't have a choice, otherwise the kids don't have a teacher. It's just like, you just do it. And that really left an impression on me, because so many times I'm guilty of complaining about less than ideal circumstances, and she just was like, that's just what's gotta be done. Let's do it. But not on her own power, with the Lord.
Yeah.
We have teachers, many of them qualified in Kenya, but there is a challenge. The challenge is, remember that school is trying to help the community. So even if we are charging some tuition fee, it is not enough. Even if I get support from friends, churches, still it is not enough. Because we have paying 40-something people. And then you have meals, and then you have all these bills. By the end of the day, you find out the money that we have collected from the parents and the money that has been sent has already been spent on buying food. Food stuff is very expensive. So the challenge is, how will you pay these teachers if you employ more? You can find that I have an empty class, but we have combined these children into one class. They should be divided. If I divide them, I need to have a teacher in place. A qualified teacher is expecting to be paid according to how the government has requirements, If you don't do that, they will go. Sometimes they wait. It is month end, they wait until 2 weeks for me to collect this money together to pay them. So it is a little bit hectic. That's why you find somebody saying I have 50. They should not be having 50. But I don't know what to do.
Another big challenge is that as teachers, you can employ as many as you can, but you see, once they come from the school, they get the TSC number, they come looking for a job, and you involve them. Then they work as they wait for government deployment.
Yes.
So whenever the government is taking people, they just, all of a sudden you find about 6 teachers are gone to the government. Now you have to again look for the others to replace them. And by that time there's nobody, because everybody is gone. You have to wait. Then that's why we come up with and get anybody that can help, who is a little bit having some knowledge. So it's really difficult to keep a teacher because this teacher are waiting for the government grades and the government deployment, because government does that every year. So as long as they are not yet got the job with the government, they're going to work with you, but they are waiting. They have applications with the government waiting for for them to be taken the other side.
Unless you give them the
Now,
best offer,
The best offer.
good money, they will stay.
What a challenge. Is there anything you want to tell us, or anything else you think that we ought to know? I know we won't have time for all the questions, but is there anything that you think is important for us to know?
School or church?
School of judge.
Or anything?
First of all, I want to say thank you to the church, to God, who has been faithful to us and the work we are doing, and also to the church here, who have been helping through prayer and the support that you are sending. I cannot take it for granted because it is not that easy. I know you also have your bills to pay, you also have your own challenges, but still you remember a school abroad, which most of you have never been to. You don't even know whether it is true or false, but you still trust us with your money. I thank you. I want to thank the people who came, at least now when I talk about what is happening the other side, they are the witnesses. They know it is true, or maybe Sarah is saying her own things. Even though when they came, the schools were not on, but they saw most of the things we are talking about. And I'm pleading with the church, if somebody is feeling the Lord is leading you to come and be a witness, come and help us. Not only bringing your money, but you can also help when we have the VBS. VBS, the ladies can teach, the men can teach. During holiday, sometimes, not every time, sometimes we have the VBS. We take 1 full week with all these children, feeding them 2 meals, doing some activities, and also having lessons, Bible lessons. So if we can have volunteers that can come to help in this, I think this will help the community very, very much, and even the people around that community. Some will get to know about the Lord we are serving. And keep on praying for us. Keep on praying for me, because I am not strong. I'm praying that the Lord may give me strength that I continue with the work that He gave me to do in that community. And I'm praying that anybody who is coming to Kenya, please, we all have needs. In Kenya, everyone has need. Here you have your needs. As I said last year, that don't tell people, how can I help you? They will be sending you letters asking for something, for help, believing that you will help. And if you don't help them, it's like you don't want to do it. And if you want to give any support, not even for the New Hope School, please try and give it through the church or through the school. It will be better than giving me individually, or Grace or John individually. It won't help. But if you give it through the school and the school will hand it over, the people, at least there will be that transparency. Because if I tell you I'm sick, you cannot know whether I'm lying. But if you will hear it from the pastor, at least it has some sense. So thank you so much. Unless there is any question, pray for us as we are praying for you.
Maybe I also want to thank the Lord for saving my soul. And I want to appreciate, just like Sarah has done. We do have a lot of challenges, and we do have a lot of needs, and we would like to have you come to Kenya. Just like whenever you go to in the airport, you find groups of people. Some of them are Christians. They may be Jehovah's Witness, they may be from different religions in America. I would pray that we would catch the vision, so that as our name says, we are we are Missionary Baptist Church, not what do we call it, stagnant, stationary Baptist Church, and that will, if for example we will plan like the Fairview Missionary Baptist Church in Woodburn, Kentucky. One day just talked with the young people, and they really had a lot of impact, not only the school, but teaching the people and even the area, because they taught the children, they were there with different activities. I think this would also encourage young people in this church, if they would have a way of going out and really being a blessing to others. It creates a mission orientation in our hearts as soon as we can. So I would ask that, for example, in the mission work, we have several missions. Like right now, for those who want to come, if you are a teacher, you can come when the school is open, and you can involve yourself and help with the children. If you are a nurse or a doctor, Dr. Collins usually comes to Kenya, and whenever he comes, before he comes, he announces through the website, and you can catch up with him and you can come together with him to help people in Kenya. But if you are maybe a preacher, and I'm glad that mission work is not only for men, it's for all of us. Jesus said all of us should go, because what we are going to do in the mission is witnessing. All of us there's something that God has done in our lives, we would like others. Somebody said that evangelist is like a poor beggar who tells another beggar where there's food. So, so if we can help, we can organize ourselves. It takes time. It takes a long time to organize. But if you can organize, maybe give yourself 3 years or 2 years and organize for the young people, so that these young people can be able to come and be. It is going to be a very big impact for them. First of all, they will have to see that the new culture. They see the way what is happening in Kenya, the environment. It will encourage them, and it's also bring brotherhood. So as far as mission, well, we have several. These missions are so far apart, and you can either be in one place, or usually sometimes when we first started, we would go to Mombasa, and then drive up to Ramogi, which was a 14 hours drive. You get there, you are very tired. But now we have decided that if you are coming to Mombasa, you just finish up in Mombasa. Then if you are coming to Ramogi, just finish in Ramogi or in Western Kenya. And there's something that is that the missionaries or people who come to Kenya need to understand, that they are the way that we are brought up. Sometimes you are not really very open, and sometimes you come and you want to do something and you say, okay, I want to do this, and you tell me I want to do it. I say, okay, it's okay, but you have to wait, because I cannot really, we do not want, like there are other tribes that I've worked among them. I would like to study the language. So as I've been with them for almost 5 years, but when you tell them, when they talk, say, what does that mean? They are not ready to tell you what that means. And that does not mean that they don't like you. Is that they just have a way of hiding themselves, and they would not want to really be naked before the people that use that word. So sometimes I can tell you, wait, don't do it, but some people just want to do it, and then you get yourself in trouble. Then you say, the Kenyan has done this. So that's really giving a bad name. So it's good for you to ask, and when you are told you should not do it or wait, because we have to do some investigation, and we have to do things that will be able to help the mission as a whole. So I want to say that we have been so grateful for the help and for prayers and for everything that you are doing. And most of all, ask just you come. I'm glad when Brother Thomas came to to Kenya. It was big, and they came with their pastor, Stapleton. It was a big thing and a good, and I will ask more people to come, and I'm so grateful. The Lord bless you. It's my prayer that those three areas you can always exploit: medical, preaching, and also as a teacher, you can come and when the school is open.
We are sending somebody here in a month.
Yeah.
Josiah's going to go over to Kenya and help Brother Dr. Mike Collins with the medical mission there, while you guys will be having revival services while that's going on.
We do have revival every time before we start. We have a revival. We have to preach to the sick, and then they can see the doctor later after they've seen the great physician.
That's right, the great physician first. But we're going to have Josiah, when he gets back, give a report on a Wednesday night about his experience there with the medical mission. And before we close, when we saw Tom and Sarah, they informed me that we had another preacher here at HMBC that I was unaware of. I thought that was very funny. We had you told me about another preacher we had at HMBC.
Okay. Yeah, I was in the work that I'm doing in Bungoma. We had a very good, we had about 250 attendants when they were there in Mombasa. And we had men being taught in their group. We have ladies conference where they were being taught together. And in the evening we had the revival, the whole group, we met together. And everybody was being used by the Lord. So some of them gave their testimonies while we were there, and we baptized them. But recently when I went to Bungoma, some few people got saved, and I saw a group of people coming, and one lady asked, I wanted them, it's always I always want to hear the testimony before I baptize. So everybody was giving their testimonies. And one lady came to me, is the wife to one of our pastors there, and I asked, what is, give me your experience. He told me, I was in Mombasa, and we were in the women conference, and the preacher by the name Mary, preached to me, and I felt peace. And I said, no, don't tell me. And she meant what she said, and say, I feel peace ever since I had her preach to me while I was in Mombasa. But I was really very much surprised. And I know the Lord uses every one of us. So it's, the Bible says that if people will not be used of God, God can use anybody. Even the stones can speak on his behalf. So I'm glad, I'm thankful for Sister Mary and for those that come. You never know, when you speak, God uses what you speak, and God makes things happen. So we have now that lady there, she's saved, and I baptized her in Bungoma. And that was a great testimony for me. So it was really very fantastic.
Yeah, we're not going to let you come to the preacher's meetings, Mary. That was a blessing when we heard that. Thank you all for coming. I know we've gone over tonight what we typically do. There are bags in the back that Sister Sarah brought, made by the ladies there in Kenya. They're $15 each, and the proceeds go to help the school.
Yeah, the bags that the ladies are making, these ladies, most of them are widows, and they are also, I call them volunteers, because what we are giving them is not enough. And I told them, okay, we are working in this school. There is a day that you won't be working here, and also what you're getting here is not enough. Would you like, because we had these machines for the students, when the students are not using them, if you feel like I can help you with skills, because I have the skills, the Lord blessed me with that. I can help you I can teach you how to make bags, or how to do the sewing, so that when you will not be here, you can get your own machine and do it at your doorstep or anywhere, and people will bring their clothing you make for them. So these ladies were interested, and I taught them up. I taught them for the whole year. Now they are good, they are qualified, and as I'm speaking today, I have 3 machines. I have money for 3 machines that when I go back, I'll buy for the 3 ladies. I'm still praying for the 5 ladies to get machines too, so that when they go back to their houses, they can do something that can give them money, not depending on people. When the school is not on, they can do something. Even if the school is on, you can even do it at night and get extra money to support your family. So that is why I have those bags there.
Those bags are supporting.
Yes.
And you said
And
many of them are widows?
the money is supporting these ladies, and the money is supporting the school at the same time. Yeah.
Very good. So those are in the back?
They do cash, check, or you can Venmo me, and I'll make sure that Sister Sarah gets the money.
Yeah, so Mary can be your
There's a
conduit.
clipboard if you sign up, if you don't, you can always pay later, but if you pay, mark paid in the back.
And if you need, if there are not enough, Sister Lisa is having a bunch. You can consult with Sister Mary, they know where they can find them.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming tonight. Thank you very much.